Yeah, how you guys doing? So this is Neil, and this is a pre-Halloween special for you guys. Really cool. So, and right now I'm working on the sketching for the monster, and this is all from my imagination. I'm not looking at any references at all. I'm just trying to visualize what I see in my head and see if the sketch comes out right. And I think it actually comes out fine, and so I go with it. If not, I would have resketched it a few more times, but I realized he's too small. I'll make him bigger later. Um, Here I'm just using the pencil tool in Manga Studio 5, now called Clip Paint Studio. For those that don't know who I am, I'm Neil, the art instructor at masterpaintnow.com. The link is in the description. I'm also the top art instructor at Udemy and the best-selling author of How to Draw Awesome Figures, which you can find on Amazon. A really cool book. Anyway, now I'm drawing Skyla. So this is from, I'm just sketching her out. I'm using the basic torso kind of study that I showed you guys recently. I'm using that same technique right here to develop her torso. Anyway, so what I'm doing right now is building her out in like very basic shapes. You want to start off like very basic shapes first, and then work your way in. I think I said very basic shapes first, and then work your way into the more complex shapes. Anyway, so this is for my free online graphic novel, which you can find at masterpaintnow.com. I have a link to it. And it's also, you can find it at endofallcomic.com. And if you guys dig it, please do me a favor and hit the, you'll see it. You know, every comic has it. I'm trying to work out her ear here because I know it's coming toward me. And that was kind of irritating to kind of figure out from the imagination. Sometimes forced perspective, like things like that, can be difficult. But I think I got it down. And now I'm just working on the hand, just kind of giving a little more detail to the hand so I know like where the fingers are supposed to be and everything. Notice I start with a kind of a blocky figure for where I know the finger's going to be. And then from there, I start adding other details to the finger. I think that's really important for hands to get hands down correctly. But yeah, it's a really cool free graphic novel. I'm on like page 83 now. We're about to post 84 here soon. And this right here is going to be for the Halloween special. So on Halloween, this will be what will be posted for Halloween. So that'd be kind of cool. You guys get a little sneak peek, I guess, not a sneak peek, because you guys get a whole peek at how it was created from beginning to end. And now I'm starting the inking process. And so what I did there, for those that might not know how to do that, is on a Clip Paint Studio or Manga Studio 5 on the layers options over there. You can lock the layer. There's another one that's called Lock Transparency for the layer. If you guys want to learn how to use this program, I actually have a full entire course on it on my website, masterpaintnow.com. I think it's for sale right now as well. And notice I use some thicker lines and thinner lines. This is a show like overlapping. When something is overlapping another object, I like to use thicker lines so it stands out from the lines behind it. It just helps it kind of pull the perspective into place. I'm going to be doing a video where I show little pieces of this in real time, and then also showing some basic stuff as I show how to draw smooth lines. Someone asked me, hey, you know, show how do you draw smooth lines? You know, how do you get to that level? And it takes a lot of practice is what it does. But anyway, if you hit that lock transparency layer, that means you're only drawing on the stuff that was drawn on that layer. So since it's a transparent layer, only the sketch is what appears on the layer. So I can then take a big brush, like a big ink brush like I did, set it to red, and I can color in all the lines, and all my sketch lines are now red. So it's just a quick way to allow me to turn to red, then I turn the opacity down. And now I'm beginning the coloring process. And this actually takes as long as everything else, and actually longer than everything else, which is kind of crazy. And this is just black and white. So just keep in mind, like a colorist job for comic books, it's really tedious. It's a lot of work. And this is just a very quick black and white work. And I kind of go between two different modes of coloring here. One, I keep in mind the idea of overlapping, but in this case, not where the light source is coming from, but using a graphic design type of coloring scheme where notice I went dark, light, or dark, and then kind of like light gray, then white for the teeth, and then kind of like light gray again for the gums. That kind of overlaying shows the different layers of the objects. And then I'll come back in and I'll pay attention to the light source. And the light source is coming from the right-hand side of Skyla, but toward us, the viewer, and above her. So that's how it's working. And right now, yeah, I think I was I think I actually left the recorder on for a little bit here. No big deal. It gives me time to talk for a second. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, definitely check it out. endofallcomic.com. Really, really cool. It's a huge like graphic novel basically is what it is. But yeah, so then I went ahead and drew the I don't know if I drew that already, but anyway, now I'm coming back in and I'm thinking about the light source now, and I'm adding darker colors for the shadows. And this is something that I did very quickly, so I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it, but I've been doing this a long time, so I can pretty much think about where the lighting is coming from. I'm also using a stippling technique where I'm adding like texture to the creatures. That way his shadows aren't just shadows, they actually also reveal the texture of his skin at the same time, which is kind of a cool technique you can use when coloring. But so since the lighting is coming like that, you can see the one tooth is casting its shadow over the other tooth. I thought that was kind of cool. I definitely want him to be darker than her because he's the main subject of this painting, or of this like drawing, I guess, a comic drawing slash coloring. He's the main subject. You would think that she would be because she's the main character of the comic book, but in this particular image, he's the one that I want the focus on. So I'm putting him in just really darker colors, a lot of detail, a lot of highlights, so a lot of really light color, a lot of contrast. Whereas her, I don't use nearly as much contrast, so she takes the lesser stage. Even though she's closer to us, I don't want the focus to be so much on her. I want the focus to be more on him. Although the focus is also on her, but mainly the focus I want to be on him. That's why I chose the more darker colors for him. And then we're going to add like a little bit of background. But anyway, yeah, definitely got to respect colorist and keep in mind that when you're reading graphic novels, this little piece right here in real time took me like from sketch to finish with all the coloring. The coloring took like literally like most of the time. It took most of my time. The inking took about half the time. The sketch, or not about half, a little less than half actually. Inking took the least amount of time. The sketching took least amount of time. But basically, if I were to cut the video in half, I was already coloring. So coloring took up more than half the time of doing everything. So you got to really keep that in mind when you're reading online free graphic novels and stuff. Really just do them a favor and click that vote button. If you like the novel, click that vote button. Every time you come back and read it, click that vote button. It helps us get our comics higher up on the queue so that more people can see it. And we put a lot of work into it. And like I said, this right here is a full page image, but still the same amount of time goes. It takes about 8 hours to do a black and white colored image, and that's with a decent amount of black and white coloring. So just keep that in mind. That's just for one page. So every page you're reading, they put 8 hours into that. And if there's more than one person working on it, then a little more. Anyway, just a little quick technique to kind of show like some background stuff. I don't want too much background stuff. I don't want to detract from what's going on in the foreground. So I put very little detail into the background. Just kind of some hanging moss. It's like I just kind of hint at stuff with basic shapes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please go ahead and share it. I'd really appreciate it if you shared it. And I'm sure if you enjoyed it, that other people might enjoy it as well. So share it in your favorite social networks. Also go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'll be doing a lot more drawings and stuff now that I got more time in life to do that. And yeah, go and hit that, smash that like button. That'd be awesome. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this.